how I've accepted my kids are delaying my goals and dreams. You know, working moms have it tough. It's so often that we feel like we haven't accomplished enough. And I've had to learn to accept and constantly relearning and learning that my kids are delaying my goals, and it's for a good reason. And really, it's okay. I can't achieve enough every day. It's an ongoing journey for me. And so I'm gonna talk a little bit about how and what I use, what I say to myself to kind of get through this. I had so many high hopes and expectations. So when I was pregnant with my son last year, I made a vow that when the time came for my maternity leave. So maternity leave is something that we're blessed with as Canadians to have, that we can spend that year or 18 months with our babies before going back to work. That during my maternity leave, I would go guns blazing and writing, recording, creating while he napped, right? And because I learned with my daughter, so with my firstborn, that newborns sleep a lot, right? Babies sleep a lot, and they actually don't need me to stare at them while they're safely sleeping soundly in their crib. That I can sneak away and do a few things for myself. Because I remember, like, during my last leave, I don't remember how many Netflix shows I binge watched or how many times I ran errands on foot just so that gave me an excuse to go out for a walk with her. And I had to find things to kill time during the day, you know, slowly burning through the days of loneliness and silence. However, really, the silver lining of that loneliness and having that time to myself and that time in the space with my daughter was that created a lot of boredom, and that boredom served as a catalyst for my mind to really think about what I wanted to do with my life, and it stirred up and rediscovered my passion for writing, and really allowed me to create this blog, Some on Sleeve, over 3 years ago. So with my son, I assumed that it would be a very similar situation, right? Like I'd have all that time to kind of like mull about, that I would have ample time to do anything I wanted. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on maternity leave, and I'm gonna put all my effort and focus into writing and just write. So a little bit of note about the maternity leave. I know I've had some comments from moms who don't get that privilege, and some have even like stopped reading my stuff because they're like, you live this entitled lifestyle that I can't relate to. But anyway, regardless whether you have maternity leave or not, kids, for me, have caused a delay in my goals and dreams. So I wrote like there was no tomorrow, right? Like I created there was no limit for the beginning. So I went all in the moment he was born. My husband would drop my daughter off, at my parents, and right at the moment I would whip my laptop out and it was go time. And in the first few months, like right after I gave birth, in the first few months, I was like running on adrenaline and postpartum hormones. And because my son was either sleeping or zoning out on the carpet. Like he would be on the floor and just kind of like entertaining himself or like, doing his thing, right? That's what like infants do. And I could get so much done. And I was constantly pumping out content, writing posts, generating social media posts, ideas were just coming to me. About sleeping, awake, drifting off into Neverland. It just really was a blur. And I'm an overachiever who gets shit done. And boy, did I get a lot of shit done. I mean, during that time, I published 3 books. So if you haven't checked them out, there's one called How to Deal with Asian Parents. Next one is called A Brutally Honest Dating Guide. Just really straight up that dating is really about removing your ego and having a face-to-face conversation with yourself. And then the next book is called A Straight Up Guide to a Happy and Healthy Marriage. So very, very to the point books. And I even created 2 courses. So converting my dating course dating book into a course, How to Deal with Asian Parents into a course. And that was like one of the most productive 3 months of my life. But there was just never, it just felt like there was never enough time because of him. Even though I was sober, despite my productiveness, there just never enough time to do all the things I wanted to do. And he would wake up from his nap and I would be typing like half a sentence, and then I would lose my train of thought. Or he'd be quietly playing on the floor, but then he'd spit up, and then I'd have to get up and go clean him and change him. And he was becoming almost like a burden to me, and something that was getting in the way, like a barrier to my success. And resentment wasn't far along. And so as he transitioned from that newborn stage to the infant stage to now the almost toddler stage, where he's learning to walk and climb on all the furniture, like he is climbing on anything he can get his little tiny hands on. His needs have changed, and really I can no longer sit in front of a computer and type away while he quietly entertains himself. Like right now he's napping. There'd be moments when I'd be in the middle of recording a video, like right now, and he would wake up crying, and then my phone would capture me right now spewing out a disgruntled right? And so I had to stop the camera, and I'd run upstairs, stomp upstairs, actually, not run, rolling my eyes as though, I was a director and he was an extra that, didn't follow his cue and ruined the scene. Cut! He's a baby. Like, I know that. I know he's a baby. I'm his mother, and he's my son. He doesn't do anything with ill intent. He's an innocent, naive, helpless little baby. He's crying because he has a real valid reason. His only way of communicating is through crying when he's got an issue, right? And he's hungry, he's tired, or he's just pooped, or he's scared, or he's, teething. He's not trying purposely to prevent me from reaching my dreams and goals. He needs me. And I realized that I need him. The problem is that as an overachiever, we really don't know when we're overachieving, right? There's achieving and then there's overachieving. And overachieving isn't actually a good thing to be. Like, you just want to be achieving. It's like kind of like eustress, right? You don't want too much stress, but you don't want like no stress. You kind of want that perfect happy medium where you're content with the amount of stress you have. Anyway, so as an overachieving recovering perfectionist, one of my blind spots is not knowing when enough is enough, right? Like, I have a very high breaking point in my ability to endure stress, because I've been developing my emotional and mental resilience since I was in grade school, right? Juggling homework, piano, basketball, part-time jobs, and swimming and Chinese school, like a tiny little baby boss, right? And my mind can conjure up blog topics, book ideas, marketing campaigns, racing a mile a minute while physically tackling my to-do list as a mom. Emptying the dishwasher while I'm doing something in my brain, stir-frying dinner while I'm thinking about something, putting away the toys, like a lioness in pursuit of an antelope that will feed her starving cubs. And all that built-up tolerance is what makes me natural at managing all the things a working mom has to do. And when you're an overachiever, when you're good at something, your tendency, or my tendency, is to set the bar higher. Right? Higher and higher and higher and higher, right? Addicted to the challenge, curious to see how far I can go. Like, how many things can I accomplish? How efficient can I get without sacrificing the quality? How much more can I write before his quiet whimpering becomes a loud, piercing scream that will cause the neighbors to be concerned? How many more videos can I edit before she is bored with her toys and wants me to play with her again? How much more resentment can I hold against my husband because I'm now keeping score of who does more, and it looks like I'm winning? Like, I'd become a Chinese factory that's gone through like its 10th process improvement iteration. I'm like this well-oiled, results-driven, ready to produce more with a fraction of the cost. But like, what was at stake? What was at cost? Oh, nothing, right? You just keep doing, just keep going crazier and crazier and adding more and more to your plate until the plate breaks. So what was at stake? Oh, nothing. Just everything that matters, like my mental health, emotional well-being, you know, the relationship with my kids, and my marriage, and everything. This is the first video. The next video I'll talk about like why faster doesn't necessarily mean better, like reaching your goals through this time isn't actually like how I've come to acceptance or come to terms and realized that it's okay to go slow, and that kids, yeah, they are delaying my dreams and goals, but faster isn't always better. So let me know what your thoughts are on having your kids interrupt you while you're trying to do something that's important to you, but your kids are also important to you, and how you manage that. Let me know in the comments.